morning, everybody. This is Mikael from Healthewise Enterprise, the health food store that's located at 3807 East 8 Mile Road, about 3 blocks west of Ryan, between Ryan and DeQuanda. And we're there to service you Monday through Saturday between 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can always give us a call directly at the store at 586-757-DIET. Again, that's 586-757-3438. Our old number still works, 313-366-DIET. And you can always reach me on the cell phone, 313-600-8532. I know folks talking about the weather left and right around about now, but with the accumulations of snow, this winter has been very mild based on my experiences. But we will keep on keeping on. This week, I wanted to talk about the importance of sleep, melatonin, vitamin D, and anti-aging, or even reverse aging. All that remarkably can be accomplished from getting a good night's sleep. And McCullough's important, this article, the importance of melatonin from optimum health, just provides some proof in that factor and just a good night's sleep. Because see, when we sleep in a complete darkness, so I always encourage people to get a mask or a bandana or pajama bottom or something to cover up your eyes when you're sleeping, to the point if you open up your eyes, it's still complete darkness. That's what it takes for the maximum production of melatonin to be produced in the body. And it's surprisingly in this article how vitamin D work synergistically with the melatonin. And both of them pertaining to the sun. Because it suggests that you get as much daylight exposure, and of course in the daytime, your body's making serotonin, and then at night, your body is making melatonin. It's one of the things that we like so much about the tea Shinoni juice is that it provided some nourishment to aid your body in producing the melatonin. And I meant to bring our bottle that we have at home of the noni. That's the original noni. That's one of the things that we started this show with back in 2001. Actually, that will be at the end of 2001 is when we started dealing with noni. But that same year, we just learned so much about the noni juice. And maybe about a year after that or so, we learned it had over 150 nutraceuticals in it. And recently, when I looked at it in the PDR, the Physician's Desk Reference, which is like the doctor's Bible, it had over 275 nutraceuticals in it. So the noni is phenomenal. And people that take it on a regular basis, surprisingly, they all look young or feel young and doing, good things. You can also get melatonin in a supplemental form, a sublingual, which basically means you put it up under your tongue, because there's ducts underneath your tongue that takes the nourishments right into your blood system. And once you get older, you might want to consider taking melatonin on a regular basis. And since we're in the northern hemisphere, I would suggest you taking the vitamin D3 on a regular basis. Because, see, our skin, black folks' skin is so thick. It's one reason we call us the sun people, is that it takes 8, 9, 10 hours in the sun to get to 10,000 IUs of vitamin D per day. And nowadays, like days like today, you're not going to get that, but my body still needs that. That was based on studies from Oprah scientists who said, had people taking 10,000 a day with no harmful side effects. The reason we say that is because I think the government still got the recommended allowances is like 400, 600, 800 based on your age, and that's nowhere near what we really need, in my opinion. I've been taking 10,000 since I learned from Dr. Barefoot 20 years ago now, okay? And Oprah put her study out with her group of scientists 10 years ago. So the vitamin D is very important. And to kick it up a little bit, notch or two, you want to get the K2. That's 200 micromilligrams of the K2. Your circadian rhythm is largely dictated by your pituitary gland, your pineal gland, located near the center of your brain, which produces melatonin, a hormone that is critical for the regulation of your sleep cycle. Melatonin is also an important energy hormone, and it is a potent antioxidant that appears to play an important role in cancer prevention. It also benefits your brain, your cardiovascular, and your glycointestinal health, and has been shown to boost your immune system. Melatonin helps protect your mitochondria, which generate energy inside each and every cell. Melatonin appears to be the most powerful antioxidant in this regard, as it has the ability to enter into your mitochondria. It also recharges your glutamine, which is a amino acid. So it recharges the glutamine. Melatonin works synergistically with vitamin D3 to optimize the mitochondrial function. It also enhances D3 signaling throughout your whole body. Multiple sclerosis, cancer, neuropsychiatric disorders, high blood pressure are all examples of diseases that appear strongly linked to and affected by your vitamin D3 and melatonin status. See, I always say it's a whole lot easier to prevent a disease rather than get it and then trying to get rid of it. A thing as simple as sleeping helps get the functions of these nourishments in your body to operate at peak performance. To protect you against cancer, MS, neuropsychological disorders, attention deficit disorders, distress, okay, high blood pressure. It's just amazing. But I had to give kudos to God, who made the body, gave us what we need for it to operate. And remember, Methuselah and Adam lived over 900 years. If you put in there in your Google, people that reached over 100, I've seen at least about a dozen that was over 500. So I'm saying that just don't fall for the okie doke that when you get 50, 60, 70, 80, you're old. It's just that your body needs certain nutrients that you get from Mother Nature. Because vitamin D you get from the sun. As being sun people, tropical areas would be ideal for our health. But since we chose to be in the thick of things here in Detroit, we had to supplement with some D3, K2, get a good night's sleep. Sleeping well is an essential strategy to optimize your health, and at the heart of it is your circadian rhythm. This is also known as your body clock. It's natural biological timer present in each and every one of your cells that helps your body recognize sleeplessness and wakefulness over a period of 24 hours. Your circadian rhythm is largely dictated by your pineal gland, located near the center of your brain, which produces melatonin, a hormone that is critical for regulation of your sleep cycle. If you had enough exposure to bright light in the daytime, your pineal gland typically starts secreting melatonin around 9 p.m. As the amount of melatonin in your brain increases, sleeplessness sets in as your body begins to prepare for sleep. If you stay awake past dark, artificial lights, especially that emanated by electronic devices, will inhibit your body's melatonin production. So ideally, you would stop using electronics at least an hour or two before bedtime to help increase the melatonin production and maintain a steady biological rhythm, a body clock, a circadian rhythm. Cutting the TV off, cutting the computers off, cutting the cell phones off, cutting the tablets off an hour or two before you go to sleep. What are we going to do? Read a book. Meditate. Spend time with God. Talk to your people in your life rather than text. Melatonin does more than control sleep. While melatonin works as a natural sleep regulator, its biological effects don't end there. It's also a potent antioxidant that plays an important role in cancer prevention. Can you imagine sleeping on a regular basis help prevent cancer? Thank you, God, for making it so simple. It's also thought to be important for brain, cardiovascular, and gastrointestinal health. Your brain, with your heart, your intestines, your guts, that's where your immune system is. All this from getting a good night's sleep and your body get a chance to make the melatonin. And it has shown to boost your immune system in a variety of ways. Just sleeping. God ain't forsaking you. He's healing you while you're sleeping. In one study, research suggests melatonin may even improve the treatment of bacterial diseases such as tuberculosis. In another, melatonin was identified as a potential tool against inflammation and autoimmune diseases, including type 1 diabetes. Folks is hanging late and getting sick when you can go to sleep and get well. Thank you, God. Again, I can't say it enough. Melatonin is also an important energy hormone, as noted in the Stanford University paper, Melatonin and Energy Levels, quote, decreasing the melatonin in the bloodstream consistent with the body's natural responses to suppress the secretion in the presence of light, causes the body to function at a higher energy level. An increase in the melatonin level leads to a sequential decrease in energy level. As such, understanding how to control and optimize your secretion and suppression of melatonin for optimal hours of the day could help improve the treatment of sleep disorders and positively impact the energy levels of individuals. What I got from that is the melatonin help calms you down at nighttime, but it helps to speed you up in the daytime. In short, if your sleep efficiency is impaired, meaning you're not sleeping as deeply as you should for as long as is ideal, then your energy level is going to be adversely affected. Ideally, sleeping is 7 to 9 hours per day. Conversely, spending most of your daytime hours in poorly lit rooms, especially if you're also exposed to excess light after sunset, can impair your melatonin production, causing you not to sleep well. Melatonin protects your mitochondria. Importantly, the antioxidant activity of the melatonin also helps protect your mitochondria, the tiny organelles inside your cells that generate most of your ATP or energy currency of your body. As noted in the 2007 paper in the Frontiers of Bioscience, quote, melatonin is an ancient molecule present in unicellular organisms at the very early moments of life. The best known action of melatonin, currently supported by experimental and clinical data, includes antioxidant and anti-inflammatory abilities. Some of them involve geometric regulations of a series of enzymes. Besides, melatonin displays anti-convulsion and anti-exotoxic properties. Most of the beneficial consequences resulting from melatonin administered may depend on its effects on the mitochondrial physiology. In fact, melatonin appears to be the most powerful antioxidant in this regard, as it has the ability to actually enter into your mitochondria. This is an ability not all antioxidants have. According to this Frontier Bioscience paper, melatonin helps, quote, prevent mitochondria impairment, energy failures, and autophagus and oxidative damage mitochondria. Now, the way I interpret that, it helps. It's interesting. It's like this. It had to be God, that something that can help you sleep also stimulates energy. Who else can do that but God? One of the things that make melatonin so powerful is that it doesn't just act as an oxygen in and of itself. It also interacts with your body's innate antioxidant system, where it recharges the glucagon. Here we go. The right? This amino acid called glutathione. However, this brings us back to the importance of sleep. Since melatonin is only released in response to darkness and is easily and significantly inhibited by light, such as regular room lighting and electronic screens after dark, Your mitochondrial health will suffer if you do not take steps to optimize your sleep. Having a completely dark room, or a mask, or a bandana over your eyes, or pajama bottoms. It's important to have complete darkness. Having the TV on while you sleep, even having a blue light on from a clock on the other side of the room is going to affect the production of the melatonin. It increases your age, makes you subject to diseases, energy level, etc. Aside from worsening your sleep quality and increasing your sleep quantity, low melatonin production also increases oxidative stress, speeding up the aging process, and raising your risk of degenerative diseases and chronic fatigue thanks to its influence over your mitochondria, which is your source of, one of your source of energy in your body. It's a good night's sleep, all of this. It's just remarkable. I mentioned the noni at first because it helps give your body the nourishment to help produces even more melatonin. That's what some of the natives from Tahiti call it the food of God. Now you can see another reason why. Melatonin works synergistically with vitamin D3. And McCullough wrote a paper last week stated the importance of vitamin D for optimum sleep, which features his interview with neurologist and sleep coach Dr. Gormick. I reviewed the hidden influences vitamin D has on your sleep, a paper that will be published in the May 2020 issues of the journal Steroid Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, which I was able to review early, parts of which I'm sharing with you, share light on the connection of vitamin D and melatonin. Not only does melatonin enhance vitamin D signaling, talking to the cells, the two molecules act synergistically to optimize your mitochondrial function, increase your energy level, protect you against diseases. As noted in the paper, quote, the biosynthetic pathways of vitamin D3 and melatonin are inversely related relatively to sun exposure, meaning both are dependent on the proper time and exposure to the sun. An hypothesis presented by the research is that vitamin D and melatonin play an essential role as moderators of the mitochondrial function and adaptation to the body biological clock and seasonal variations. Additionally, both molecules are involved in the homeostatic function of the mitochondria, vitamin D3 and the melatonin. The author pointed out, stressing that the mitochondria are in fact the final common target for melatonin and vitamin D3. I can't brag on God enough. The sun and sleep providing power to the mitochondria, which is one of your sources of power. Quote, a deficiency of these molecules has been associated with the pathogenesis of cardiovascular diseases, including arterial hypertension, neurological degenerative diseases, sleep disorder, kidney diseases, cancer, psychotic diseases and disorder, bone diseases, metabolic symptoms, diabetes, among others. Just the list of diseases go on and on that could be prevented with the effects of the sun and sleeping. Again, God has not forsaken us. He's given these gifts to promote healing in the body. You can imagine if you getting the noni juice in on a regular basis, you got, besides helping your body make the melatonin, you got these over 275 nutraceuticals in it. Who knows? Who won't take the time to find out? Maybe some scientists. Well, why they finding out what noni does? We can reap the benefits of it. It's tremendous. And now they got noni in a compact a formula that's 4 times stronger than the original noni we talked about in 2001, 2, 3, and 4. That's not bad. Shut your mouth, but I'm talking about noni. During aging, the intake and culturous synthesis of vitamin D, the blending the two during aging, the intake of vitamin D as well as the endogenous synthesis of melatonin are remarkably depleted, therefore producing a state characterized by an increase in oxidative stress, inflammation, and mitochondrial dysfunction. As we age, if we don't get the vitamin D3 and the melatonin, then you're subject to other diseases, pain, inflammation. Mitochondrial dysfunction has been related to epidemiologies of many complex diseases where overactivation of the RAAS vitamin D deficient and the reduction of melatonin synergistic covariance. They use a lot of words to say that you will get sick if you don't get the vitamin D3 and the melatonin. In this sense, experimental and clinical evidence indicates that inflammation, oxidative stress, and mitochondrial dysfunction are consistent with low levels of melatonin and low levels of vitamin D3, and also represent risk factors connected with development and maintenance of prevalent acute and chronic pathogens. You know, the pathogens, the parasites, the fungus, the bacteria, the viruses, the mold, the yeast, all those pathogens that the civil water kills because they are one cell, which is a foreign substance in the body. That's what Wayne told us, and that's what people have experienced, but they share with us. When they call 586-757 diet or 366 diet. Melatonin, vitamin D3 combo produces strong synergistic effects. You know how water and oil don't mix? When you put lecithin in there, it has a synergistic effect. Oh no, that helps breaks it down. Vitamin E and the mineral selenium. Yeah, vitamin E, the mineral selenium. They're good by themselves, but when you take them both together, you get what we call the synergistic effect. It's like 3 + 3 = 7. Here we got another combination like that, melatonin and vitamin D3. They're more powerful together rather than individually. According to a 2020 paper in the Journal of Steroid Biochemistry and Nuclear Biology, MS, multiple sclerosis, cancer, neuropsychiatric disorders, and high blood pressure are all examples of diseases that appear strongly linked to and affected by your vitamin D3 and your melatonin status. MS, cancer, neurological, psychological disorders, and high blood pressure because you ain't getting enough sleep, enough vitamin D. We had vitamin D at Healthewise. It's 20 cents a pill. 2 a day will give you 10,000 IUs of vitamin D. 40 cents a day. What's that, $12 a month? That's less than the cheapest cup of coffee you can find anywhere. 40 cents. You get that away. Interesting. A 2012 study pointed out melatonin is, quote, an overlooked factor in schizophrenia and in the inhibition of antipsychotic side effects, unquote. Vitamin D3 deficiency has also been linked to a higher risk of schizophrenia, especially when levels are low during development. Children got to get their sleep. When combined in treatment, melatonin and vitamin D3 produce strong synergistic effects against cancer. 2 separate studies have demonstrated the combination induce autotopic is and inhibit growth and division of breast cancer cells. In the apoptosis is the occurrence, it's a natural occurrence of cell death and growth. Two separate studies have demonstrated the combination induce of apoptosis and inhibit growth and division of breast cancer cells. In one of them, the combination resulted in an almost complete cell growth arrest in 144 hours. It's 168 hours a week. Less than a week, 6 days. That's remarkable. These effects were attributed, at least in part, to enhanced release of the transformed growth factor, a type of cytokine that controls cell growth, proliferation, differentiations, and the normal growth of cell and death. Melatonin in combination with vitamin D3 has also been shown to protect against, this was what I was like, the death of cells, reducing blood flow and restoring the flow. The way they put it is they like to use these words. Simple ways to optimize your melatonin and vitamin D. The evidence suggests optimize your melatonin production by making sure you sleep well at night may be a hidden key to maintaining mitochondrial health, which in turn is paramount for longevity and the prevention of virtually all chronic health problems. Getting a good night's sleep help you live longer and all chronic diseases and all chronic health problems. God, it made it so simple. No wonder the doctors are so doggone crazy, because he had them folks stand up 24, 36 hours. That's what Hitler did to brainwash people. However, while there are likely many benefits to the supplementing with vitamin D3 and melatonin, it makes no sense to do so unless you are seeking to optimize your body's own production. The good news is relatively simple, inexpensive to increase your melatonin and vitamin D levels. To optimize your vitamin D, I recommend getting sensible sun exposure on a large portion of your body on a regular basis, ideally daily. Yeah, well, he could say that because he stay in Florida. Okay, that's why one reason I think he moved to Florida. But up north, we're going to stop by Healthewise and get us 40 cents worth of vitamin D3. The further evidence, sees the risks and benefits of sun exposure. Then he gets into him living in Florida. And with a little extra vitamin D, K2, 200 micromilligrams, to maintain a healthy ratio between these two nutrients of vitamin D3 and melatonin. Okay. Optimizing your melatonin. Oh, he suggested he takes a little bit of melatonin since he's over 65. Now, you could take the melatonin pill. I like to take the noni because it gives your body what it needs to help make the melatonin. Optimize your melatonin production. Start with getting plenty of bright sunlight during the day, as this helps set the circadian clock. Then, as the evening wears on and the sun sets, you want to avoid bright lights. Blue light from electronic screens, computers, cell phone, laptops is partially problematic and inhibits melatonin the most. The blue screens inhibits the melatonin the most. And what we got people doing is spending so much time in front of TV, computers, flip tops, tablets, cell phones, all put out this blue screen. And it's the most problematic energy out there that interferes with your melatonin. It's another reason to contribute why people get sicker and sicker. This can be counteracted by installing a blue blocking software known as IRIS. IRIS. I just learned about this today, so I haven't looked up, but I would suspect it is an app. IRIS. And or wearing blue blocking glasses. Additionally, interesting paper in the Natural Structure and Molecular Biology published in 2017 highlights the usefulness of time-restricted eating to improve your sleep cycle. As noted in the paper, the robustness of the circadian clock deteriorates with aging. 2 new studies show that aging reprograms the circadian transcriptome in a cell-type dependent manner, and that such rewiring can be reversed by chronic calorie restriction. Surprisingly, the expression of core clock genes and clock control genes remain unchanged with aging despite the drastic circadian reprogramming. Thus, the core clock machinery remains largely intact in old age, giving hope for the prospect of reversing aging associated with the circadian reprogramming to potentially improve physiological functions. Indeed, CR-induced robust reprogramming of the circadian transcriptome partially overlaps with the circadian transcriptome in young mice. Thus, the profound physiological impact of CR may be in part mediated by the reprogramming of the circadian clock, given that age-associated accumulation of the DNA Damage in stem cells originate from exposure to the mitochondrial stress, and that the mitochondrial protects programs are repressed in age adult stem cells. It is tempting to speculate that reactivating the mitochondrial protective program may provide a means to reduce the accumulation of cellular damage and reverse aging associated circadian reprogramming. That was a mouthful. And so what I take away from that, because sometimes they talk in code, so I had to ask my higher self what that means. So I asked, does that mean getting a good night's sleep, having sun exposure, and or getting vitamin D3, a little K2 in there, then you reverse your age? Because a lot of times they go all the way around the moon just to tell you something they can't tell you direct without feedback. So you have to just ask your higher self, which is always with you, what does that mean? What are they trying to say without exposing themselves, without drawing too much attention to themselves? That a good night's sleep, sun exposure, vitamin D3, right, a little K2 in there, melatonin, could reverse your age. That is remarkable. It is remarkable. A friend of mine introduced me to this stem cell products. I haven't got from this article. I think it stimulated me to go find out what that's about, and possibly a month from now, because I like to check things out for a month, I can bring that back to you and let you know what he been bragging about is the stem cells and what they do for the body. But what we already have exposed to is a good night rest, putting a bandana or mask on the eyes, sun exposure, vitamin D3. But Oprah had, her scientists have people doing 10,000 IUs a day, 200 micromilligrams of K2 a day, along with some food. And how the melatonin and vitamin D work synergistically together to prevent these degenerative diseases. Because, aging is a disease too. When you got people in the Bible that's living close to 1,000, 900, 500 people on the planet that Dr. Wallach has found as the average lifespan is 120, 140. And they not just barely getting around. They climbing them down mountains. Look like they about 65. It's remarkable. So I just want to thank God again. Talking about a second chance, just another opportunity to share some information with you. And hopefully you share it with somebody else. Remember, each one teach one. And God will continue to bless you when you're looking out for his children. Because everybody you see, God made. He come through our parents, but God made them. Stop by 3807 East 8 Mile. We'll give you a hug. You can ask for a hug, or we just give you one. Give you some water. You can call us at 366-DIET. You can call us at 586-757-DIET. Okay, 756. No, 586-757-3438. 3807 East 8 Mile Road. It's a center of love, popcorn and water, vitamins and minerals, and definitely vitamin D3, K2, and melatonin products like the noni. Peace and love, y'all. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks, more importantly, for sharing.
Willie John